I think one of the questions that I get most often is, why are you running? And it's because I want to make sure this nation is better tomorrow than it is today. One of my favorite phrases in the Ganahila Dunksla, or the Thanksgiving address, is Adohinuni Yungwat Nigula, and that means to weave or blend our minds together. And one of the many reasons why the people do the Thanksgiving address is when two or more people are coming together in a group to promote good thoughts, good feelings, positive communication, and exchange of ideas. And that's why it's done at the General Tribal Council meetings. So when I'm speaking at a General Tribal Council meeting, I try and make sure to promote a common goal of thinking about our decision in a long term aspect. Does this make us stronger tomorrow, or does this make us weaker tomorrow? And when you have the consensus making responsible decisions in a long term aspect, you end up with positive outcomes like good governance, a balanced budget, and a prosperous nation. Also, I was elected in the 2016 special election to the Oneida Trust and Enrollment Committee, and I was appointed by this business committee to serve on the Oneida Nation Library Board, and I was since then elected by the board to serve as the chairman. So I have experience in policy, in our laws, in our governmental structure, and that's going to be an important aspect in this election. There are only three incumbents on the council position. There are five officers. There are four officers and five councilmen, and in the councilman race, there's only three incumbents. So there's going to be at least two new ones, and that's always a difficult transition to make when a new term begins. So having some of the experience that I've accumulated serving on our boards and our committees, I'll be able to move on to some of the more difficult aspects of the job faster, like state and federal representation, all the way down to city, town, and county representation, up to things like federal relations, nation and nation relations, and other diplomatic responsibilities that I'd have as a council member. Also, from a teamwork perspective, I get to meet with the business committee on a quarterly basis as an elected official. So, if elected, I'd already be working with some people who are already my peers as of now. As elected officials, we share a common goal of trying to make this nation the best that it can be. It's in the position, it's in the description of what a councilman is supposed to do, that we work together as a cohesive unit. We act by majority decision, and that's important. That's important in an election like this, to promote teamwork, to promote good decision making, and whether or not there's debate on whether or not we agree on a decision or not, to be able to move forward, make a decision as a whole, and act on it as a whole, which is the way it's supposed to be. So when people ask me why I'm running, it's because I want to continue to promote the idea of making responsible decisions in a long-term perspective. Um, because the seventh generation idea tells us that it's important that the decisions we make today have positive outcomes and positive effects 7 generations down the road. It's important to protect our relatives and our tribal members that don't have a voice yet. It's important to look out for them and make sure that the decisions we're making today are also beneficial to them. So when people ask me why I'm running, it's because I want to ensure a bountiful and prosperous home for our children, to encourage them to do the same for their own. Because um, as Oneida people, that's just the way it's supposed to be.